Okay, I'm going to try this and see how things are showing up in the video. What I do is usually I hook my cord up. You have 4 strands, 2 of each color, length depending on what you're making and everything. But I hook it to something solid. Now I can tie it to this cord right here, or what I usually do is I take some copper wire and wind it around like so, and it just makes it stiffer for me anyway. And then just hook it on to my cord over here, and then I can pull on this as I want to. Now the way you start out is the hardest part for people to get understood, and I'm going to see if the camera's focusing on that right now. That's pretty good. There we go. Okay, make any knot you want up here. A cobra weave, I just did an overhand one because later you probably want to do something else with your project there anyway. But in this case I got 2 greens and 2 black cords, and I got them about 6 feet long. And like I said, it depends on what you're making, how long a cord. But anyway, to start out is most important. Take your green, the right outside, and put it over the black, in this case next to it on the left, and do the same thing with the green on the left side, put it over the black. So all I've done is put the 2 outside ones over the inside ones. The next part is to take the left green and let it go under the right green, and so I have that. So let me do that all over again, because this is the hardest part. Outside over, one next to it inside. Outside on the left over, one next to it inside. And you have that. Then take the one on the left and put it under the one on the right. The one on the left inside under the one on the right on the other inside. So you got the left green going under the right green, and you have this pattern. Now from now on it's the same pattern. The outside right over the next one in. The outside on the left over the green and then under the black. So your pattern, if you wanted it to have something to say, it's always a right over the left, a left over and under. So right over left, left over and under. And now you can see that herringbone looking start. Right over, left over and under. Right green over the black, left green over the black, and then under the green in the center. And I kind of keep pulling on this as I go. So right over, left over, and under. Right over, left over, and under. Anytime I want to stop, telephone rings or something, I have these clips here, and you can clip it right there on that side. I always have 2 different colored ones, and I can tell which one's left and right if that's important, and then you can stop. Okay, so we have it tied here, and I'll do a little bit more, and then we can talk about finishing it off. Take the black off the clip and the yellow, and notice if I take them off nicely, then I know where everything's still going. You have your 2 colors in the center there. Right over, left over, and under. and you kind of push it with your thumbs and pull and kind of get it nice and even here. Right over, left over and under. Right over, left over and under. And every once in a while I pull the strands through to keep things straight. It's getting to be a nice looking herringbone now. Right over, left over and under. 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 If you say that enough, it works. I got a knot here. This is what happens when you have long strands. That's why I keep separating the cords. Right over, left over and under. Right over. It's really fast. You can go watch TV and do this after you get onto it. Not even have to look at it. Right over, left over and under. Now the thing about the herringbone is that it's flat. And let me check the camera again. I'm outside here by myself doing this, so I'm not sure quite where we're at with everything sometimes. Okay. Sooner or later you have to stop this and make some type of knot. What I usually do is a cobra weave, and I'll drop the two middle ones so they're parallel to each other like this, and then I'll just do a simple cobra knot. Take the outside over the two green ones, the black under and through. And cobra weave keeps it flat. You could do a snake weave knot or any other knot you want to make, but I like the cobra weave because it keeps it nice and flat like that. And depending on what you're going to do, a lot of times you want to get rid of 4 strands and go into 2 strands. So I'll cut these 2 off and melt them, and then continue on with these 2, making, say, some kind of a loop here and doing a hangman's noose or something, or hooking these around a hook. And I'm all thumbs here. Say this was the hook, hooking them around the hook eye, and then going back that way with a cobra weave. I'll see if I can do that and keep it in the camera, but it works pretty cool that way. And you can get it attached on both ends, and it's snug and really tight and nice. I know I'm moving this around a lot here, but just getting it. Okay, so you got it around your hook, whatever that may be, and then do cobra weave meeting the other cobra weave. So cobra, you go over the 2 strands. This one on this side goes over underneath everything and through that little loop there. And I'm sure most of you talking to have done the cobra, but you might not have. Over, this one here goes under and through the loop. Now you got it attached to your hook or loop or whatever it is. In this case, it's my clip there. But you can continue on with this one too. Here's a cobra weave. You go over the 2 strands. The one on the right goes over that strand and then under and through the loop here. And then you tighten it up. And you eventually do these to meet each other. And of course you don't have to do that. I'm just giving you a possibility. And this doesn't have to be very long at all if you don't want to. Over, under, and you can have this black cobra weave go all the way, and the green just attached to your hook, your key ring, whatever else you're doing, and make it tight. The possibilities are really endless here. My objective here was just to show you the the herringbone weave, and show you how to start and stop it. This is the stopping part. Now I'd melt these, or cut these off and melt them, and I'd be finished. And of course this doesn't have to be this long. It probably distracts from your nice herringbone weave anyway, but exaggerating here. So you could just make a 1 or 2 cobra weaves to end it off, and that's all you'd have to do. Up at this other end, let's get the camera on it better. On this other end up here, sooner or later you're going to have to deal with it and do something. So you can do the same thing if you want to with making it a cobra weave. Got this overhand so well here. If I'm not in the camera, don't worry about it for a second here. Get this untied. I did a good job of tying it here. Okay, I got my herringbone going there. Now you can do the cobra weave on this end as well if you want to tie it off. You got your 2 green here. I'm going to turn it over because it won't be right if I do it that way. Okay, you get your 2 black in the center here. Cobra weave, you go over. The other one goes over that, but under, through the little loop. We have some directions on cobra weaves already on our site here, but you can see cobra is a nice way to start and stop your project because it stays flat and it doesn't interfere with the looks. I usually do 1 more cobra weave to balance it out, but of course it depends on what you're doing. I do this on my slings, but let me see if it's in the camera here. Yeah, so looks pretty nice there. You can cut these off or cut these 2 off, extend these on to do something else. It just depends on what you want to do. But that's the herringbone weave, and I got my clips hooked to it now. But hopefully you got it. The basic pattern on the herringbone is always over, and this one over here, over and under, and you'll have it. Play around with it a little bit. The starting, like I showed you, that's why I did it a 3 times to start with. The start is the hardest part because you got to get the pattern started right, but it's always the right over, the left over and under, right over, left over and under. If you can remember that, like I kept saying as I did the video, it will make sense.